Hello, welcome to the John Ark Show. Today, we're going to interview a great actor by the name of Vincent Pastore. Now, I know a lot of celebrities, but I really enjoyed this interview. This is not only a very talented man, but a good man. I enjoyed this interview. While many of you may know him from his hit TV show, The Sopranos, Vincent or Vinny has also been in a lot of great movies and TV shows like Goodfellas, Carlitos Way, Mickey Blue Eyes, Riding in Cars with Boys, Gotti, The Apprentice, and many other movies. He's also got a fantastic new product out. It's called Vincent Pastore's Italian Sauce, and it's made with San Marzano tomatoes. It's non-GMO, and it's got no sugar, which is always a plus. He's also got a very popular new podcast out. You can check it out. It's called Forget About It, and it's available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and other platforms. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, comment, and follow us. Also, remember to click on the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. I'd also like to tell you about HollywoodIsCalling.com. It's a great service that allows you to purchase live phone calls from your favorite celebrities. There are more than 100 celebrities to choose from, so give it a try. A live 15-second call is $19.95, and a live 30-second call is $29.95. HollywoodIsCalling.com. Now, let's say hello to Vinny. Hello, Vinny. How are you today, sir?
Well, considering the circumstances, I'm not doing too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It looks like you're in good spirits. So with the lockdowns, a lot of younger people are staying at home now, and they are discovering The Sopranos for the first time, and they love it. People are telling me it is now more popular than ever. When you were shooting the show, were you aware of how special it was, or did that take a while to settle in, to realize?
Well, it was bigger after it came out than when it came out because we filmed it and then we put out the first season, and then when we won the second season, the first season was running. And we started to get a little buzz, but it wasn't really till after I was killed and they went into the third season did it really blow up.
Mm.
And then people started watching episode 1 and 2 again.
But I have to tell you, your character is so popular and well liked on that show that people remember it to this day. It's very impactful. Back in the day, every Sunday night, my family would get together at my sister's house and we would have dinner and we would watch The Sopranos. And I think of those times and it puts a huge smile on my face. What do you think of when you see The Sopranos today?
Well, I do remember I was in the same situation as you. I'm sitting home watching these episodes for the first time. We worked on them. We worked on the script. We filmed our scenes. We put it all together. But when you watch it for the first time and it was on television, the same moment you're watching it, and if my phone's ringing and it's like my sister, I'm not going to pick it up because I'm watching The Sopranos.
Yeah.
And it was an event for me as well. And sometimes I would have people come over the house, like when they aired the last episode I was in, and the press didn't know what was going to be. My dilemma, my circumstances, Big Pussy, what happened to him. I had the New York Post and the Daily News over my house that night, and we were drinking wine and we were watching the show. And then they saw the what happened to me the same time everybody else did, and that's when it really blew up for me. When I was dead, big page, 2-page article in the New York Post. Big Pussy's dead. So my character then became almost bigger than what it was because of the death.
Yeah, that's ironic. That's the way it is. Just imagine if your character was killed and nobody noticed and no one cared. That would have been a problem.
Well, I don't think you'd want to talk to me then. You wouldn't have anything to talk to me about.
Yeah, what a great show. So let's go back to the beginning. People always want to know, how did you get your first break in movies?
Oh, that's a great question. I was trying to break into acting. I was driving a limousine. I just got out of running bars and restaurants and nightclubs and discos for 25 years. And I really wanted to focus on being an actor. I'm 42 years old. And I see an ad in Backstage, which the paper used to come out every Thursday. I used to pick it over at the newspaper stand in Pelham Bay, and I see this thing about this low budget film called True Love. And I went down to the Irish Arts Center on the West Side in Hell's Kitchen, and I submitted myself. And I wind up getting in this movie, and this movie wind up becoming a winner at the Sundance Film Festival. And I said, whoa. I mean, and then I wind up working with these kids. On The Sopranos, Aida Turturro and Annabella Sciorra, were in this movie, and they became biggies on The Soprano along with me. So I always said that Nancy Savoca's movie, True Love, was it. That's what made me change my life and say, hey, I think I can do this. I wasn't making any money, but I said to myself, I think I can do this.
You mentioned discos. I used to love the discos. Kids today have no idea what the disco era was like. They think socializing means using the apps and looking for a woman on the apps. It was a completely different world.
Yeah. My biggest night at the club was on Wednesday nights because Peachtree's in New Rochelle, we used to have an outdoor barbecue. And actually, my father was out there. He was one of the cooks. And Louis Tallerini, the owner, I was the manager. We would charge you $10 you come in, and you can dance and eat all night long. And that was our biggest night. I don't know how people went to work on Thursday.
Mm.
I
remember when I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just was saying a lot of beautiful women.
Oh my God. Yeah. I remember when Saturday Night Fever came out with John Travolta. It changed everything. It changed everything. It was amazing.
Well, you want to hear a true story? I was working at a small club with my friend Marty Lally, and we had a plexiglass dance floor. And when that movie came out, it was the same dance floor. And Marty was screaming and says, they stole that from me. I said, Marty, come on. That was out at Space Odyssey in Brooklyn way before you even opened up your joint. But it was the same plexiglass dance floor that, when I was a DJ, I used to hit the lights and control that when people were dancing because I was a DJ.
Now, were you single at the time of your, at the time you were working on The Sopranos, or were you married?
I've only been married once, John. A beautiful lady, Nancy Jean. We have a great grandchild together, so we're still friends. Nice. But I was going through a conflict in my life that I didn't know what I wanted to do because I know I didn't want to work, every day. The same thing. I used to run a bus terminal. I used to put Alan Arkin and his son on a bus up to Vermont. That was my gig. And then years later, I'm working with Alan on Jerky Boys. I used to put your son on a bus. And then years after that, I'm working with Tony Arkin in a movie together called Two Family House. And I says, Anthony, I used to put you on a bus. So I'm happier now. I put, instead of putting these kids on the bus, I'm working with them.
Yeah, Alan Arkin is so good. He just doesn't get enough attention. He's just so good. Yeah. So did you enjoy acting immediately, or did it take a while to grow on you?
Well, when I ran my club days, I was doing community theater, and I had a theme in my bar with the lights and everything to make it more theatrical. And I had a lot of my fellow community theater workers working for me. Community theater actors working for me, Paul tending bar and Kevin playing DJ, all these, and I had these artsy guys there, so they kept me busy with the acting. But then when Matt Dillon and Kevin Dillon used to come in the bar all the time and just used to break my chops and finally talked me into becoming an actor and really took me downtown to meet my first appointment, then things just, I said, okay, I'm doing this.
Mm.
When Maddie was looking at Frank Vincent and we were watching Public Village together one night at my bar, he said, "You could do that. You could do that." He encouraged me. I was on a train going into the city to audition for Bugsy, and Maddie was sitting there because he was coming from his parents' house from Mamaroneck. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going in for an audition." "What's the name of the movie?" "Bugsy." He says, "That's Warren Beatty's movie." So he was proud of me that I all of a sudden I just popped out of nowhere at 42 years old, and because of the success of True Love, that I was getting seen. Ellen Lewis saw me in True Love and brought me in to meet Marty Scorsese. I mean, I only had a little thing in Goodfellas, but I was in Goodfellas because of True Love, and
You know,
that's what. And I tell when I teach, John, I tell my students there is never such thing as a small movie. I did a movie called The Bet with Jonathan Demme. It was 20 minutes long. It got me an agent. So you don't know.
When we were doing research for this show, I heard that you lived on City Island in the Bronx. And
Yeah.
I've never been there. I've been to New York, but I've never been to City Island. So we went on YouTube and we took a video tour of City Island.
That's
And
not City Island in the back.
What's that?
The back of you. What is that?
Oh, that's Monaco.
Oh, really?
It's a picture of Monaco.
Whoa, because Van Morrison wrote a great song about going down to Monaco.
Yeah, it is stunning. Stunning.
Yeah. That's in France, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I worked with Luc Besson in Normandy, and then we went to Paris to the studio. I worked with Luc twice. In London with Guy Ritchie, and then in Normandy at Luc's estate with De Niro and Michelle Pfeiffer, a movie called The Family. So, and one scene, one of the characters went down to that Monaco and back of you and whacked somebody.
Yeah, if you ever have a few minutes, go on YouTube and check out some videos of Monaco. It is unbelievable.
Well,
it's only a square mile. It's only a
maybe
square.
I'll just go there instead of come on.
Listen, it's only a square mile.
It's only a square.
It's only a square mile, but I see why billionaires love it so much.
Yeah. Well, it looks like everybody's got a billionaire yacht back there. So, well.
Yeah. So, how long have you lived on the island, and how do you like it?
Well, talking about my film work, I did a movie called Awakenings. I was there. I was an extra, and De Niro and Penny Marshall upgraded me. They gave me a contract, and Sachs, the doctor, the character Robin Williams portrayed, lived right down the corner, City Island. City Island is you think you're in New England when you come out here.
It is amazing.
In fact, they cheat. They shoot a lot of stuff here, and they tell people it's New England.
I believe it because I was expecting something New York-like, something Manhattan-like, and instead it's like this beautiful resort on the water. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, the pandemic has kept a lot of us in isolation here, self-isolation. We support each other with the restaurants and the grocery stores and everything. So you really don't have to go off the island unless you got to go to your doctors. It's pretty much self-contained. So we're lucky, we're lucky,
You know what else I loved about the video tours that I was taking on YouTube was I know Manhattan, and I've been watching a lot of the rioting in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And I watched these tours of your island, and the first thing I thought was, these people look normal. They don't look like they're going to do any rioting at all.
No, we had one small protest down at the bottom of the bridge when they were doing the protests, and it was pretty safe. But we went through what everybody else went through: the lockdown, the curfew. Our neighbors going out at 7:00 and ringing hitting the dishpans and ringing the bells. I was ringing my bell, and now the surge is scaring. I'm supposed to be in LA. I'm supposed to be in LA doing something, and I keep telling the producer, I don't want to go on a plane yet.
Are you taking vitamin D like they
You know,
recommend?
you're the second person who brought that up today.
Yeah, yeah,
My friend Glenn, he emailed me this morning. He said, "How much D are you taking?"
yeah.
And I told him, he said, "You got to take more. How much do you want me to take?
Well, I'm not a doctor, but a lot of people take at least 1,000.
1,000?"
1,000 IU, I believe it is.
Yeah, yeah. No, I kind of do that. So, but my friend told me to take 5,000.
That that could do it as well. But they say walking in the sun and
Yeah,
also vitamin D capsules. That's a
yeah,
big deal.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Vinny, you've had a really interesting career. You were in some classic gangster movies like Goodfellas, Carlitos Way. Did you make a conscious decision early on in your career to focus on gangster movies, or is that just the way it worked out?
Well, I kind of knew that was my niche, you know. I when I talk about true love, I found it hard for me to play that guy, the loving
Mhm.
father, and it was easier for me when I was getting jobs on like America's Most Wanted. It was easier for me to play those guys, and when I was getting casted for bigger parts, it was the wise guy, it was the tough guy, and I was able to tap into that because where I grew up. And then I realized that was my groove. That's what they wanted me for. So I focused on that.
So I have to
I
say,
would have never got Sopranos if I wasn't focused on that. When I went in to see David for the audition for Big Pussy, I knew what I was doing. You
yeah,
know,
that's obvious on the
I knew what
screen.
he wanted, and I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, that's really apparent on the screen. There's no doubt.
You
It's
know,
very
and
apparent.
I didn't get a call back. I got a phone call from Rob at Abrams, and he said they want you. And I said, okay. He says, there's one more guy out on the West Coast. And I knew who it was. My friend Johnny Roast Beef, who was in Goodfellas. It was
Hmm.
me and Johnny Roast Beef. But me and Johnny used to go up for a lot of roles together. Johnny Roast Beef was a state of grace. He was in Goodfellas. He was the fat guy bought his wife the mink. And the girl who had the mink, Marie, she was in true love with me. So we were all like working on these same projects together. But Johnny Roast Beef was up for the part of Big Pussy.
Hmm.
You
So
know?
I have to say that it seems the crime genre, whether it's on TV or in the movies, it just keeps getting more popular.
Yeah.
I was, you just mentioned, I was recently watching the original 1932 version of Scarface starring Paul Mooney.
Paul Muni.
And that's almost 100 years old. It's like
Paul Muni.
80 or 90 years
One of
old.
my favorite all-time actors.
And it still works. It
Of
still
course it works. That's why they made a remake out of it with Pacino. But Pacino didn't play the mobster like Muni was. They changed the whole storyline. Brian De Palma made him a drug dealer out of Cuba. But the original Scarface, it was based on Capone, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was based on Capone.
It's,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. It's fantastic movie. In fact, I just interviewed Capone's grandniece recently. It's on the show. But so, how often do you get asked to be in another gangster movie or TV show?
Well, I'm the one I'm supposed to be doing with Tom Sizemore. I play a gangster, and I'm gonna get it done. I mean, they say, "Can you come out? Can you come out?" And I keep saying no, but they're not gonna get rid of me. They're not gonna get rid of us because I said, you want the New York actors to come out to LA. You got to make sure we're not going to get sick. That's all. I said, I'm on the union. I'm on the board. You
You
got to
know,
make sure that when you comply with the rules and regulations that Screen Actors Guild wants you to comply with. And then everybody said, they're shooting here in New York. My friend is working today on FBI, one of my students. They're
hmm,
shooting in New York. They're shooting Blue Bloods. They're shooting a lot of good shows in City on the Hill with Kevin Bacon. They're shooting it. Actually, they shoot City on the Hill right here in City Island because City on the Hill is supposed to take place in New England.
nice.
They don't go up there. And Kevin's been living in the city. Yeah.
You mentioned Tom Sizemore. I haven't talked to him in a few years. How's he doing?
Yeah. Tommy's good. I wind up doing a lot of work with Tommy because he's getting to get a nice groove with independent films.
Mhm.
Same thing with Eric Roberts. Eric is like the king of independent films. I was watching him on something on cable the other night. He was marvelous. He was playing this sleazy porn producer. And the thing is, like, you say to yourself, why are these guys that were big stars at the time? Why are they doing all these independent films? And the answer is because they want to work. If you sit back and wait for the phone to ring, it's going to ring once every 3 years, and you're lucky if you get the job.
Do you know who Ron Perlman? You know who Ron Perlman is, who played in Beauty and the Beast?
Yes, wonderful actor.
So Ron Perlman told me that, that show was a hit for years and years and years. And after Beauty and the Beast ended, he said the phone didn't ring for years.
Yeah.
For years. And
he had to reinvent himself.
Yeah. And then he's in one hit series after another.
Yeah. And then he did Hellboy.
Yes. Things just exploded for him.
Yeah.
So you mentioned life is, I really think life is about movement. The minute you stop, everything stops. The minute if you keep moving, keep working on whatever project you have access to, that's how you keep the opportunities coming.
But how do you keep moving then when we're in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah, I think this is, I think with the vaccines coming out, I think that's going to change.
Yeah. Actually, I got some nice texts the past couple of days because I'm at that age. I think they're going to, I hope I get this shot a little sooner than somebody else.
So I'm guessing you can't go out in public without somebody wanting to buy you a drink somewhere based on your.
No, not really. Not on City Island. City Island, nobody bothers you.
Okay.
No, there's a few pretty prominent, artists, you may say, that live on City Island, and they don't bother us. A couple of newscasters and stuff up here. And in the city, New York City, nobody bothers you. They look at you and they say hello, but they could care less. Where you get bothered, if you want to say it's being bothered, is when you go to like anything with a crowd. Like I can't go to a concert unless I go backstage. Like if I go see Van Morrison, I got to go backstage and stay backstage. The same thing with the Allman Brothers when they used to be at the Beacon. Stay backstage, stay back at Greg Allman's keyboard. Can't go into the audience. Won't be able to enjoy the show. And it's like Jack Nicholson said once: if you don't want your picture taken, stay home. So you got to say to yourself, you got to psych yourself. If I'm leaving City Island, I'm going to go someplace. Especially if I'm doing something with my show, my rock and roll band. I have a band, and our next show is December 26th at the Wonder Bar in Asbury. My band, the Gangster Squad. When my band plays, people want to take a picture with me.
Nice.
You have to be polite, especially now with COVID. You have to say, well, please keep your mask on and don't stand too close to me. And some people get mad. They get offended.
Yeah. By the way, the camera can see you much better when you're at this distance. When you lean way back, like you're doing now, then it gets dark.
Oh, you want me to come in like this?
There you go.
Oh, all right. I could do this. Close up.
There you go.
Yeah, but they get mad. If you said to me, Vinny, take a picture of me, and if I say, 3 feet apart, keep your mask on, they don't want to do that, and they get mad. And that's what's hard now, for not just me. A lot of the guys out there, because it's you want to meet your public, you want to try to, when I'm out there with my sauce, signing jars of sauce, we have the plexiglass in front of us. They want to take a picture. I say, okay, you stand there, I stand here. They really don't get mad. But when you go to a casino, or like when we were doing the Soprano Con, which was huge, and if you run into your hotel room and you're trying to get away from the crowd, and maybe somebody comes up and you just took like 50 pictures, and here's this 51 person. Hello, can I take a picture? And if you say, I got to go, they'll post all over Facebook how rude you are. That one person.
You were in a great movie called State of Grace, starring Sean Penn and Robin Wright. And that's just another classic. And I think Robin Wright's one of the most beautiful women ever.
That's where they fell in love, Sean and Robin.
Yeah. Now, it looks like you have a knack for selecting movies that are well written, well cast, and well directed. Is that something you put a lot of effort into, or is that just fate working on your behalf?
That's just the way it happened, man. I didn't think I was going to be in Awakenings. The casting put you in it. I didn't think I was going to be in State of Grace. When I was doing State of Grace, I was also working on a movie with John Turturro called Men of Respect, which was an independent movie, but Dennis Farina was in it, Peter Boyle, Rod Steiger was in it. It was a marvelous time. I was trying to do the two movies at the same time. But, and then I had a conflict with State of Grace because State of Grace, I was what you called an extra, but I got upgraded. But they weren't giving me any lines, where in this other movie, I had a huge role. Mm-hmm. So I remember Ned, he was one of the producers. He called me. He said, "You got to work tomorrow." I said, "I can't. I'm working on Men of Respect with John." He says, "If you don't come to the set, I'm not going to give you a credit in the movie." Mm. I says, "Ned, I got to go to work with these guys. I got a principal role, and if anybody should understand that, it's you." It turned out that Men of Respect, I met Steiger. I became good friends with John Turturro. I met his brother Nicky on the set. Dennis Farina and I became friends. It paid off. The people on State of Grace got mad at me, but you got to look really, really hard with binoculars to see me in that movie.
It doesn't surprise me that you made all those friends, because you strike me as a guy who can get along with anybody. You really do.
Well, I remember when I ran into Sean, Jimmy introduced me to Sean at the Peninsula Hotel, and it was a night when we were out there for the Screen Actors Guild Awards, and we won, and we were hanging around, and HBO was paying for everything, and Sean was hanging out with us. Jimmy was close with Sean Penn's father. They used to play cards together, and Sean, he loved us. He took us in. I did a play, Golden Boy, on 42nd Street with Maureen Van Zandt. Sean used to sneak in. He used to come see Golden Boy every night, and then he used to leave because he didn't want anybody to know he was there. But I knew he was there. When you see that you're in this circle, this group, I'm sitting in De Niro's restaurant one night, and Salma Hayek and Mark, what's his name? He was married to Jennifer Lopez. Mark
Anthony.
Yeah, they were doing a movie together, and they came over and they sat at the table with us because we were Sopranos. It was really like the highlight of my career. It was the Rat Pack of my life to be able to get a table in these places. We used to go to Spago's. When I go out there, I run with my friend Richie Palmer, and he treats me like I'm still a star out there, and I guess I am.
You not only are you a star, but still a star, but I predict, based on this tremendous resurgence in popularity of The Sopranos, the millennials are all discovering it for the first time now that they're all on lockdown. Yeah. I predict that the show's growing popularity and the work you're doing on social media and the other projects you're doing, I predict you are going to be bigger than ever. I really do.
Well, I hope so. My agents, they're all in the same situation as everybody else. There's no work, and they have to cut back on expenses, and something comes in and something comes out, and I want to work and they want to work, but they say to me, you're going to get through this and you're going to wind up getting a nice little sitcom, maybe shooting in LA, be ready because it's there. And my manager says the same thing. And I had this woman on my podcast. Her name is Kim Russo. She was a medium, John, and she said the same thing. I didn't ask her to bring that up. She just brought it up. She says, "I see you producing and directing your life story for HBO." I said, "What?" I said, "Who told you that?" She says, "Yeah, your story about your rock and roll days."
I have used mediums and psychics throughout my entire business.
You don't believe in them?
I do believe in them. I'm also a believer in Chinese astrology and normal astrology. And these psychic readings have saved me a ton of money. ton of money. Sometimes you have a business decision. Should you make a left or should you make a right? And they advised me to make a right. And then a month later, after I make that decision, I find out that if I had made a left, it would have cost me everything. It would have been a disaster. So I never underestimate that. I never dismiss it.
Yeah.
A major business magazine interviewed a number of billionaires, Chinese billionaires, Western billionaires, Eastern billionaires, and they asked them, do you use astrology to make your major business decisions? And all of them said the same thing. They said, astrology is not the determinant of our decision making. We don't use it to make a decision, but we would never dismiss it entirely. We always keep it in mind as another data stream, another data point in our decision making. And that's the way I've always felt. I really do. So a lot of people were really disappointed when the Sopranos series ended. Was there ever any talk of bringing it back?
Yeah.
So James Gandolfini played Tony Soprano on the show, and he passed away in 2013. It just seems like it was yesterday. I heard that Gandolfini was tremendously generous and that he even paid off the mortgages for some of the people he worked with. First of all, do you know if that's true? And also, do you have any Gandolfini stories you can share?
No, that's very true. I have a certificate here in my office. Jimmy had a corporation called Attaboy Productions, and he produced movies and documentaries about the veterans with Attaboy Productions, and he made us profit sharers.
Really?
Yeah. The original cast members from the pilot, we all got profit shares. I mean, I was getting money. It would freak me out that he gave us money.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we were getting money. Some guys got more than others, and but the fact that he sent me money out of his Attaboy Productions, besides being generous and caring, he was an actor's actor. And I needed that because I started late. I didn't study that much. In fact, I was in an acting class with Jimmy and Aida, but not in the same sessions, but the same teacher. This guy, Nico Hardos, was teaching us. He was much younger than I was, and he had a bright future ahead of him. Up until Sopranos, he was in some great movies, True Romance, Crimson Tide, and then after his success, he wound up working with Redford and Brad Pitt, and Julia Roberts. Everybody loved working with Jimmy. But Jimmy was generous. A lot of actors are not generous. Sometimes I get a complaint when I'm working with my students. So-and-so doesn't want to rehearse. I said, well, what are you going to do? Well, what happens when I go into class Tuesday night and he's not ready? I said, well, you chew him up. Learn your stuff and don't worry about the other guy. Jimmy wasn't like that. Jimmy shared. He shared the screen. He shared everything. He was really concerned about not just he becoming a star, but the show becoming what it became.
So they recently filmed a Sopranos movie called The Many Saints of Newark, and it's supposed to be released in March of 2021. And now I'm hearing that they're going to release it on movie screens and on HBO Max, which is their streaming app, on the same day. Do you think that HBO would be interested in bringing back The Sopranos after this movie comes out?
Well, they're going to probably rerun all of our stuff like crazy. But to make, Saints of Newark is a prequel.
Right.
We're all young. There's a kid that's playing me, Little Pussy. Actually, David Chase had the kid come to my acting classes and hang out with me for a little, so you can get, I guess, the way I walked and stuff. But the same thing with Little Steven. They can't. Without Jimmy, how are you going to do it? I mean, where does it pick up? Is Tony Sirico, Paulie Walnuts in charge? Did Silvio come out of the coma? Is he in charge? Is Edie Falco's she in charge? Did Jamie grow up to be a princess? I don't know. But if there's money to be made, and they think they can make some money and make a lot of money, they're going to do it.
I don't know why, but it seems like the networks never really appreciate a hit show the way they should. So they just let them end. Instead of worrying about paying stars more money when their contracts get renegotiated, they should be focusing on making billions of dollars in the future with a reimagined version of the show. And I know people say you can't do that with dead characters.
No, but they did it with Star Trek.
Exactly.
Star Trek lives on and on and on and on. Jurassic Park, all those stories.
I think they should bring you guys back and just.
I'm not dead.
Exactly, but I mean,
I'm not dead.
I mean the show in its entirety.
It was a dream.
Yeah, exactly. And just, it is so hard to develop a show that everybody loves. If you have one, just keep moving it forward.
If it ain't broke, why fix it?
Quentin Tarantino did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and he completely, it's based on the Manson story, and he completely created a fictitious ending that was better than what happened in real life.
Right.
He didn't care.
That's why he did that.
And it turned into a huge money monster.
Right.
That's what I think they should do with The Sopranos. Bring them back. But anyways, that's just my opinion.
Well, I would love that because I'll have a nice paycheck coming in.
Yeah.
I'll go back to work. They probably won't want me every day.
Well, I think if it's reimagined in the right way, then almost anything is possible.
Well, we're doing something next Friday night. David Chase, Terry Winter put it all together for the fire department in New York. And the fact that they keep calling us and they keep saying to bring in the usual suspects. We're when we did that Soprano Con, you couldn't get in that thing for days.
Yeah, I've seen it on YouTube. It's amazing.
For days. I went to Saudi Arabia with Federico, with Vince Curatola, with Comic-Con. Chuck LaBella sent me over there. I went to Saudi Arabia because I'm a soprano. I was with Kevin Dillon. Kevin was with Entourage, and I was with Sopranos, and we were laughing because Kevin got me into the business.
So we have a lot of business people in our audience who are huge fans of yours. One thing business people know is how hard it is to succeed in the business world. Now, right now, there are thousands of businesses and restaurants going out of business every month because of the pandemic. You've succeeded in the movie business, which many feel is the toughest business in the world. What do you attribute your success to, and what advice would you give to a lot of the business people out there who are struggling to make it?
Well, I think you have to reinvent yourself. If your ship is sinking, just let it sink and swim to the shore and start a new life. And I did that so many times in my life. And I have to encourage people that if things go really bad in your life because of this, come bring your head up and just look for something else to do. Working from home, teaching, directing, doing the podcasts is safe. It's healthy. It keeps us. I mean, I got my all my in-laws, my relatives on Thanksgiving. Everybody said, "Oh, we can't see each other." I said, "Let's everybody zoom in," and we zoomed in, and it was I was a guy was zooming in from Utah. He was my brother-in-law. I didn't even know. I thought it was Jeremiah Johnson, but I mean, we have to adjust to the future.
So
and so if this pandemic is getting to you, then think about how I could survive in it. Imagine you ever see, I mean, I'm going to ask you a stupid question. You ever see Birdman of Alcatraz, Lancaster? I mean, growing up, you and I are watching that movie with Carl Malden. We said, what is this movie about? He was in prison all these years. He was survived. He trained birds. He became a doctor while he was in jail. So if you put yourself in a situation where, I can't leave my house for 2 weeks. I can't go out drinking tonight. Well, you can get up and go for a walk. You could breathe the air in. You could take your dog out. You could cook yourself a nice meal. You could listen to Van Morrison around your house. You could start writing. There's so many other things you could do to get through this. In March, as soon as everything started to shut down, I read Steve McQueen's life. And when I came to a certain passage in the book that he was doing a movie of, I watched that movie that night.
Nice.
You know, and I got through all of that. And then I did it the same thing with Robin Williams. And I haven't been reading, but now I am. I haven't been writing, but now I am. And what I'm doing now, and I'm really, really happy about it, and little Steven got me into it, is I'm directing on Zoom. I'm directing plays. I'm working on 3 different plays, and I'm directing it on Zoom. And we're starting to put them out for people like yourself who are on Facebook. Say, oh, this is interesting. And it's great for the kids. It's great for the students because it's going to get them work. When you say everything blows up, it's going to get them work. So they kept themselves busy.
So I heard something amazing about you, and I'd like to know if it's true. Because if it is true, then that tells me a great deal about what kind of human being you are. I heard that when your ex-wife subsequently remarried, you became close friends with her husband. And that when he passed away, you donated your $50,000 winnings from your appearance on the Apprentice TV show to was it a charity in his name, I think.
Yeah, it was Lust Garden Foundation.
Can you tell me? It sounds like that was true, but it's unbelievable.
It was true. What happens when you're working for Donald on The Apprentice and you become the project manager? I was the project manager that week, and he said, "What's your charity if you win?" So you pick your charity. Like Trace had his charity, Pierce had the charity. I said Lust Garden Foundation in honor of Mitchell Burke, who was my ex-wife's husband, my daughter's stepfather, who just passed away. What happened is when I did win that money, Donald was smart. He says, "I want a shot, Vinny giving her the check." So I says, "Okay, let's go down to Little Italy." We went down to Little Italy in front of my friend Frankie's restaurant, Lamella. And I said, "Nancy," she saw the cameras on us, so she knew something was up. And I handed her an envelope across the table, and she said, "What's this?" And she opened it up. It was for $50,000.
Vinny, I have to tell you something. Your career is extremely impressive, but to me, that doesn't compare to what you did in that situation. That, I think, is like a defining moment. That tells me who you are as a man. It really is. Well, I know a lot of celebrities who won't leave a $5 tip for a waitress. A lot.
Or talk to their ex-wife anymore.
Yeah. So
yeah, well, you see, that's the whole structure. And then I didn't do it. I didn't do it for forgiveness because I was I don't want to say I messed up in my marriage, because what happened with me and Nancy is I wanted to be an actor. I didn't want to run a bus terminal in White Plains. I'm sorry. I wanted to be an actor. I knew I could be an actor. And it ruined my marriage. But see, when Sopranos came out, I was able to pull up in a limousine and say to Renee, my daughter, get in the car and go in and get Jared, Mitchell's son, Nancy's son from Jared, from Mitchell. So Renee's half brother. Come on. I would take the whole house down with me, you know, because that's me. And then I remember Jared was in Annapolis, and he had a bunch of sailors at the house, and I was going to work with 9/11 at Continental Arena. It was a concert, and I knew I was working with Bruce that night. So I said, Renee knew Bruce was coming, so I said to Jared, come on, get your guys. He brought 4 guys, they're all in the whites, and we went to the concert, and they all met Bruce Springsteen. I mean, then we went home, and Nancy said, you guys met Bruce Springsteen tonight? It was funny.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was funny. But that's you got to do that. Come on.
Yeah. That's what elevates you to another level.
You got to do that. You know, and then there are people who don't like me. And what are you going to do?
You know, you and Vince Vaughn and Peter Falk all starred in a movie called Made. And whenever this movie's on cable, I have to smile.
Yeah.
There are scenes in there where Peter Falk screams and yells and insults Vince Vaughn nonstop. And it is
Yeah.
I had no idea how good his
Yeah.
comedic timing was.
Well, John let them, he let me, he let Vince, and he let Peter improvise.
Well, the reason I bring this movie up,
That wasn't scripted when Peter kept saying the things he was saying to Vince. He was insulting him so much.
oh, it's beautiful. But
That was one of the best performances that Peter Falk did. I think one of his last.
it's hilarious. But the reason I bring the movie up is because a lot of the other actors, Vince and some of the other people, they're doing a lot of screaming and yelling and a lot of overacting. And then you walk into some of these scenes and you're understated and you steal the whole scene with just a look or the absence of a look. You command the whole scene. Is that something you had early on, the ability to command a scene, to take control with less rather than more?
Well, in a movie like Made, John asked me to do that when he was working on Sopranos with us. And it's like, okay, how do I fill up the space? Like I'm talking to you now and you're on camera, you're reacting to what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So I need to react to what these guys are saying. And I kind of learned it from when I did Gotti, because a lot of times the cameras was on Amon Asante and Anthony Quinn. They didn't care about me, but I got reaction shots in there. So they were cutting back to me. Robert Harmon was cutting back to me. So I said to myself, okay, internally, what's going on? What's going on every moment? What's going on every moment? You just can't just sit there and let them shoot the scene. You have to digest in your system what's going on every moment. And then you don't need words. Christopher Walken is like that. He don't have to talk. They never don't have to talk. They're internal actors. And it becomes the character, because I knew, because I had the script, where my character was going, who I really was. But they didn't, and the audience didn't.
By the way, you mentioned Gotti. Did you ever really meet Gotti?
The kids.
The kids. Okay.
Yeah, the kids. The kids like to take us to eat.
Yeah. Were they fans of The Sopranos? Was this before or after The Sopranos?
No, the kids loved me from playing Angela Ruggiero.
Oh, okay.
The kids loved me from back then. Actually, they didn't like me in The Sopranos because I played a rat. Oh. That's the truth. They didn't like me.
That's funny. So everybody knows what a great actor you are, but not everybody knows what a serious businessman you were, or you are. Now, you appeared on the Shark Tank and you got Barbara Corcoran to partner with you and invest $50,000 in your product, the broccoli wad.
Yeah.
Most people appearing on that show don't get any investment.
Well, but see, the people that I'm with, she invested that money because she liked me. I think we were going to date. The guy, as soon as we walked outside, after the guy made a deal, this guy, I don't even want to say his name, I'm afraid I'm going to get sued. He said, we're not going to have a deal. We're walking on Santa Monica Beach. I said, what do you mean we're not going to do the deal? He said, I just wanted to get television time. I said, what are you, nuts? She's going to put the money into the project. He didn't do the deal. And now, where is the broccoli wad? I don't know where it is.
Interesting.
But that's what happens. You can't crush people like that.
Right.
Trying to save money.
Well, you've got another product out. It's called Vincent Pastore's Italian sauce.
Well, that's a horse of a different color, because I'm working with two kids. They're very energetic, very smart. We started from day one. I went up to Merrick, Long Island, to a grocery store called A&S, and we tasted the sauce. We put it together. We did a photo op. We realized we didn't have that much money at the beginning. Now it sells out. It actually sells out. I mean, I go down the corner to Dominic's, the grocery store on City Island, and Dominic, who's the brother-in-law of Andrew, who created the sauce, says, I got no sauce. I said, I don't know. What do you mean? I got no sauce. And I get a phone call. I'm out of sauce. And what happens, because of the pandemic and people stay home cooking, they buy it off the shelves and then it runs out and you got to reorder it again, but that's a good thing.
Is it only available at retail, or can they order it online?
No, you can get it online. You go to Vinny Pastore Sauce pastoresauce.com, Vinny, Vinny, pastoresauce.com. You get a jar online. Yeah, they ship it to you.
Well,
If they ship you one,
yeah,
you're pushing the sauce like crazy. They better send you one.
No, yeah, they sent it.
I'll take care of it.
It's
I'll take care of it. That's all. You get your sauce.
So
I don't know if they're going to send it all the way out to Monte Carlo.
no.
There's a song that's you're making me crazy now. There's a song by Van Morrison called "Going Down to Monte Carlo." When we finish talking tonight, play it.
Nice.
Going down to Monte Carlo.
So we've got a lot of business people in our audience, and
Yes.
if any of them want to contact us about doing business with you, we will definitely, forward their proposals to you. You are obviously a strong businessman, easy to get along with, and you have character, which is number one. Number one. I'll take character and loyalty over anything. I really will.
Well, I would like to. Maybe you can get involved. I would like to get my own bottle of wine. We had Sopranos wine, which was okay, but there's 50 million Sopranos. You need your own wine, Right. Well, my friend Cha-Cha had a good bottle of wine before he passed away down in Little Italy. It was good. It was heavy, it was good. Wine is a good commodity. Sauce is a real good commodity because, I could give you a jar of sauce for the holidays and maybe you won't eat it till Easter, but it's still good.
Did you see how much money George Clooney made with his tequila?
Yeah, he also gave his friends a lot of money too.
Yeah.
No, of course. I wish somebody would have me. Yeah, well, I'm not going to say I wish. Maybe we'll get something out of the show here. I could go for it. Michael Imperioli was doing commercials with tequila. The thing is, you got to have your own.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You got to have your own stuff. The sauce is going to be a long-term good, a good. Everybody likes it, so they buy it.
It's a perfect fit for you.
Yeah, it's a perfect fit. My agent said to me, give it time. It's going to be worth it in the end.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I enjoy doing my podcast and I enjoy talking to guys like you and meeting new friends and getting out there and staying alive, So it's all good.
So before we wrap things up, is there anything else you would like to promote?
Yeah, I mean, when is this airing?
This will be on YouTube very soon. I'll email you.
Well, I got my band, the Gangster Squad, and we're playing at Debbie's Wonder Bar in Asbury Park on the day after Christmas, December 26th, and it's the charity for the pets. Our particular charity, we call it Vets for Pets. It's to get animals to those veterans that are living alone in their homes, and Debbie put this whole thing together. We've been doing it for a long time. Nice. And my band's playing, and I think there's some tickets left. So, and if you do get a ticket, and you saw me on the podcast, come up, and I'll take a picture with you. But please keep your mask on.
Nice. Well, listen, I want to thank you for appearing on the John Ark Show. It was very nice talking to you. I feel like I've got a new friend, and you're always welcome back on the show.
Okay.
Well, listen, man,
this is right.
Absolutely.
All right, you got me on the right track. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Vinny. Thank you.
This is a great interview. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Vinny. Okay. Bye-bye. Well, that was Vincent Pastore, and I hope you enjoyed the interview as much as I did. We're going to have more great celebrity interviews coming up and more breaking news stories. So we want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell so you can get notified every time we post a new story. Thank you for watching.